Hello guys, welcome back. So as we said in the last class, this one we're going to learn how to use Django templates or HTML templates inside the Django framework. So if we have a quick look here in this diagram, we can see that the views it might give back a template as a response. Okay, so this template example.html will become a response, and then it will uh, uh, be returned back to the client. So how can we use the Django templates? It's very simple. The first thing that we need to do, we need to tell Django where we are going to store our templates. So here in settings we have the variable templates that we can set up the directory lists of the templates. So if we want to create one folder called my templates, okay, so you just inform Django here that you will create one folder with this name here besides the clients, besides your apps, and then inside this folder Django can look for templates. So let's have an example. What is that? I create with the wrong name, I think. It's not test function. I will rename that, put my templates. Okay, now it's okay, it's working. And then let's create that example.html. Okay, so now we have one HTML template that is ready to be used. Once here in PyCharm, if you are using PyCharm, if you type HTML column and 5, you press tab, it will automatically create the base of one HTML file. Okay, so it's very quick, it's very nice to start with. So I will, as an example, I'll put one header, one title called test page. Okay, and let's try to use that inside our view. Okay, so in this, for example, this test function, let's try to keep the same structure that we have now, the calculations and the link and so on and so forth. This link here is wrong, it's programfacil.com.br. It's my personal project where I have like a lot of courses for programming, and so on and so forth, like full careers. We'll move this link now to the file, to my file, indent that to have a little bit more organized code. And Django has one function called Django render. This one. If we have a quick look here into this link, the Django render comes from Django shortcuts package. That's a collector of helpful functions and classes that span multiple levels, or AMVC. In other words, this function and class introduce controlled coupling of convenient shakes. So what we need to do, we need to import the render function from Django shortcuts. So here we go and do from Django shortcuts import render. Okay, that's the function that we need. And then here, instead of returning one HTTP response, we're going to return a render object. Okay, guys. So this render function, it will import one HTTP response for you. So inside this function, it will do the hard work of manipulating the HTML and rendering all this stuff, calling static files, image, so on and so forth. It will transform all of this and in a HTTP response, and then we return to the browser. Okay, so you don't need to care about a lot of things that this function will be doing for you. So here, once you have the render object, by default it's required as well, you need to return the request as the first parameter. Okay, the second parameter is the template name. So we have the example.html. So we put here example.html, and let's see if it will works correctly. So once we refresh here, what we see now is a test page. If we have a look in the response, coming back from this view, we can see one whole HTML file. Okay, easy peasy, it's very easy because Django has so many things out of the box for us. But here we can see that we have a problem. We don't want to print out this %d. We want to print the total value from our calculation, and for that Django has a context manager. Django can manipulate the context between your function and your HTML file. So you can pass a variable, let's call that total. Okay, so Django will create one variable inside your HTML called total, and inside this variable Django will put the value that we want. I want to put dot. Okay, so Django will manage the context. We'll get from here the context dot, the variable. We'll put inside this another variable, and we'll create this, and then this variable will be accessible from here, from your template. Okay, so here inside of this way, that's not the way anymore to read variables, to manipulate the values. Django has one Django is using the Jinja framework. It's one specific framework for templates, and in Django version 2, it's much better because it's using one new and updated engine of templates, so it's much faster than the previous version. It's much more reliable. You can scale that much easier with the new resource from Django 2.0 to the all of the new versions from now will come with this Jinja 2. Okay, so that's the way to read the variables. You open this curly brackets, and then inside these double curly brackets you put the variable that you want to read. So you put total, that's the name of the variable that we created here. Okay, so now if you go to the browser and you refresh the page, here we go, we have the number 20 already rendered. So it's rendered, and Django is managing for you the context. Okay, so it's very easy to communicate um, your function and templates. So let's say that we have a list of people, for example. So people, we can have a variable called people, and then we can have, for example, on Python list, could be a Python tuple or a Python dictionary. Doesn't really matter. You can pass once it is iterable. You can pass, and you can loop over this variable in your template, and I'm going to show you how to do this. So I'll create people like myself. I'll create as well Mary and Jose and who else? And I don't know, Pedro and John. Okay, I think it's just a way to write it up. Okay, you can pass more than one variable to the template. That's the nice thing. So I will call people, and because the same name we're using here, as you could see, doesn't need to be the same name because I have the variable tot and I create tot into the template. You need to know that that's the name that will be provided inside the template. Okay, so I will pass people, my people's list, and then here inside the template, how can we do one loop into this this list? So using Jinja, the Jinja framework that's on the top of Django framework. So you can do loops, you can do statements, you can do if else, so you have a lot of very nice functionality that will give you power for manipulating your data, and doing your template. For example, if you have different teams, the front end, back end, for example, separated, the front end guys will have the ability to work on these templates, and much more possibilities to manipulate the data. So that's a very nice thing. So let's see how one loop works. You can do for and like for person and people. So that's my variable. So for every person inside people, Django will iterate and will create one variable with this name. So we can do like this to close the loop. Okay, so and for will close the loop, and here we can create one list item, for example, one HTML list item. So if we do like this and then close the list, so have a look have in mind that we need to keep the parts that will not be repeated outside of the loop. Okay, so inside the loop, just the part that will repeat. So for every person, I will create one new list item. So okay, so I'm creating a new list item for every person inside this list. Okay, so this way Django will iterate over this variable, will create the person, and will create the list. Let's see how it works. Here we go. We have all the data already rendered into the templates. Cool, no? Easy peasy. That's the way to do loops into the Django templates. Let's see how can we do like if and else. Okay, so we can have here inside my function, I can decide if I will show the people's list or not, and then I can create a flag. For example, I'll call that people flag. Okay, and I will say true. Okay, I will pass this variable to my template, so I will put like this. I'll call the same name. Okay, and then how can we create one statement? It's very easy as well. It's the same structure. You put curly brackets and percentage sign, and then you can do if your variable, and then you can do else, do another thing, and you need to close the if as well. Okay, so that's the syntax for Jinja and statement for conditional, sorry. Okay, so if this variable is true, I will show the list. So I will put this inside my conditional. If not, I'll print, for example, people will not be shown. Okay, so we have two options. The first option, in case it's true, will show the people. If not, we'll show this message. Let's see it working. Once we update here, we don't see any difference because the variable is true. Let's change that for false. Here we go. It's working perfect. Okay, so we do have a misspelling. People. Okay, that's it. And then you see, guys, how easy it is to manipulate the data into the template. You can do if, you can do else, you can do loops, you can access one variable straight away. So Django provides you, from using Jinja, so much power to manipulate your data. Okay, so it's you will be able to do so many nice things into your templates with no problem at all. Okay, guys, so I hope you enjoy it. I hope you implemented all this stuff in your own code and it's working fine. But if not, you can put your error or your questions here, that for sure I'm gonna help. Okay, I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.